I know what it was like to be a single Christian and feel like people do look at you different and seem to think that your life, well, are you dating anyone? Like, have you met anyone? Like, that kind of thing. And that's another thing that I think we do to single people that makes them feel inadequate. Well, you'll find someone and your time will come, as if we make them feel that their lives are inadequate, even if they don't feel that. Some people are perfectly content in their singleness, but people still say things like that to them that make them feel like, well, I must be missing something because these people seem to think that I'm not complete yet. So,
Sure. So tell me about how you and your husband met and give us a little insight into your love story.
Well, we met at work. We were actually both servers at a restaurant. And I will say that what the Lord taught me about marriage when I was young, that marriage itself is not the goal, that the person needs to be someone that you can have a mature and godly walk with, served me well even in our dating, because we dated for a really long time, almost 6 years, but we needed to. There were a lot of things that needed to change in both of us, and the best way that this mindset served our relationship is that 3 years into that dating period, I actually broke up with him for almost a year. And it was more devastating than having broken up with either of my fiancés when I was young. I really did love him deeply, but our relationship wasn't headed to the kind of teamwork that I knew would be healthy, and I wasn't willing to do that. So I broke up with him. And I really didn't think we would get back together. And I was 30 at the time. And so I feel like had I been in the mindset that most of my peers were in, I would have been like, well, time's running out. I would have been too invested in the idea of marriage to do that, to break up with him. But since I wasn't, and since I was like, no, it needs to be healthy. It needs to be godly. It needs to be, that when we did get back together, which, as I said, didn't expect us to at all, our relationship was so much more healthy, and we had both grown in spiritually and in other ways, and learned to appreciate each other in ways we didn't before. And I truly feel that mindset of not just being so focused on the marriage itself and getting married kept it. I feel like we would have had so many more problems if I had just stayed with him and gotten married then, as opposed to having that breakup where we had time to grow and learn, and then we came back together more mature and more ready to have a healthy relationship.
Yeah. What do you think was the main thing that changed contrast before and after that 1 year period of time?
Well, this is not denigrating my husband. He's a wonderful person, but he was not showing the kind of adult responsibility you would want in a spouse, and I was not okay with that. I wanted a relationship where we were a team, and I didn't feel like he was living in a way that we would have been a team. And then for me, I was not appreciating him for who he was, and I learned in that breakup also. I had a friendship with a gentleman that I might have ended up dating at some point while we were broken up, who was very different from my husband in the sense that he was the kind who opened all the doors and said all the right things and did that, whereas my husband is a little willy-nilly in that regard. He'll be like, I'll open this door for you, you get the next one, and which is fine for me. I don't need ritual, and I need someone who is. So this guy at first, that relationship appealed to me because he was doing all the right things. And then towards the end of that friendship, there was just a massive blow up where I realized how emotionally unhealthy this gentleman was. And that despite my husband's not necessarily being the type who does all the right things and, says all the stereotypical things of being a gentleman, so to speak, he would never treat me the way that person did. That his heart is so gentle and kind. And before, I was looking at all of the logistical things that maybe he wasn't doing right. And after that, I was able to see him more for his character and how he would treat me.